Hello, it's Stacy from Achievers Prep, and welcome to this edition of It's All Education, the podcast. I have a very special guest here with us today. His name is Mr. Dale Brown, and he is going to come and talk to us from the Detroit Threat Management Center, and he's going to talk to us about Detroit DUST. And I'm going to let him explain exactly what DUST, the acronym DUST, means, okay? So without further ado, we're going to get right to it, and the next voice you will hear will be that of Mr. Dale Brown. Mr. Brown, welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yes, I want you to tell the people what it is Detroit DUST is and what the Detroit Threat Management Center is all about. Tell us what it is, who you are, and what it is you do.
Detroit Urban Survival Training is what DUST stands for. DUST is an acronym, Detroit Urban Survival Training. And that's specifically a training system that I created that's an actual separate business from my other organization that is just for training people on defending themselves, defending their families, their communities, their corporations from violent criminals, and doing it in a non-violent way by teaching psychology, law, and skill required to create non-adversarial interactions so you can create non-violent outcomes. And this is something that we found over many years, the past 26 years of training and teaching people and creating safe communities here in Detroit.
Wow, like that was a mouthful, but I basically want the people to understand from my perspective what that means, because I'm I really am out here trying to champion what it is you're doing because I have seen it in action. Can you just kind of break that down for us when you say it's urban survival training? Why is that important?
The reason why urban survival training is so important is because no matter what city you live in, the urban people are in need of enhanced training. And what that means is we need to understand psychology, first and foremost, to understand how people see us, how we see the world, and how we can use that understanding of human behavior to create a better world for ourselves, a better existence, a better interaction with others. So by understanding psychology, your projection of your body language, micro expressions, your facial expression, kinesics, understanding how the people perceive you will help you in business and help you to understand when you're in threat, and also help you to create conditions where you don't have a negative interaction with others. And also so you can read the body language of others, the intention of others. That's what will really keep you and your family safe. Understanding the way in which humans are going to project so you can see the threat potential they have, and also how to create a nonviolent outcome by using our system as a bridge to creating a peaceful outcome. So really what we have here is a system that is the bridge towards what you want. So we know we're unsafe. We know we want to be safe. How do we do that without enhancing violence? Well, we do that by enhancing our intellectual abilities to understand how to use our intelligence, our creativity, and our actual initiative. So we call it intellect, ingenuity, and initiative. We use those three I's in order to create what we're looking for, which is a better quality of life through nonviolence.
This is perfect. This is perfect. Now, when you talk about all of this, the first thing that comes to mind for me is our interaction. When I say our, and we're talking about we and our, specifically my platform is for the BIPOC community, for the Black and Indigenous people of color. That is the platform for which I have started It's All Education, because I want to educate the BIPOC community on many different areas. And when I met you, the first thing that came to mind was knowing how to handle a situation with law enforcement. Can you speak to that and speak to how the training and how DUST can be communicated through the law enforcement as well as the community?
Yes. Well, first and foremost is to understand that what we have is a narrative, and that's given to us by several different factors. One of which is we have a limited exposure to information and experiences outside of our own. So when we think of law enforcement, we typically think of adversarial position and condition historically here, because it was always there and always has been and always will be until we change the relationship and understanding, as well as procedures, protocols, and purpose of how we implement the enforcement of laws in the urban and rural communities as well as suburbs. So really what we have is a demented kind of perspective, simply because all of our information either comes from personal experiences or from TV and news sources, which are not accurate. So the first thing we have to do is understand that we've been misled. The misleading is to believe that there was a direct correlation between skin color and behaviors. And none of those things are true. Those are things that have been inferred to us, and we have limited experience. So we have our experiences and we apply to that. But if you talk to other people, they'll say that even though they had the same skin color as this person who was Catholic, they experienced terrible experiences as a Jewish person. Then you'll have another person say, well, I'm Catholic and I was mistreated by the Protestants. And that's a very serious problem, because in our country, Catholics have been known to not have the ability to move and live and run businesses in certain areas because Protestants would not allow them. The Protestants call themselves nativists. So although we have the populations that we're calling brown, the Italians are very brown people, much browner than millions of Afro-Europeans, the descendants of enslaved Africans and Europeans that own the plantations. So the reality is there is no correlation between skin color and identity, although that's what we're told we actually are, even though millions of us appear to look European. We're still people of African heritage, and that should not change your perspective or perception of your value and who you are, nor should it change other people's perspectives, because who you are is not your skin color. You know, so that's one of our issues is if we're going to actually manage the first issue is, you know, how are we going to help stop a problem, whatever the problem is systemically in our society, whether it's education, healthcare, religion, or law enforcement and military issues. We can't solve those as long as we're living false narratives. So you can't believe that Catholics are inferior, or Jews are inferior, or Asians are inferior, or Africans are inferior, or these kinds of Europeans are not right, or Slavic people are not right. You can't believe any of those inappropriate racist ideologies, and then you can't use any of the terminologies or etymology from them. So we can't use any words that associate with race or racism, because race is for the purpose of racism. Racialism created structural pseudoscience to support this idea. All of it is false. We can't use one part of it and make it make sense. So once we establish that factor that, you know, race is not real, racism is real because we're using lies to perpetuate ideas and take actions that are inappropriate. But at the same time, that's the first thing we have to tackle. We're going to deal with the next issue, which is how do we manage human behavior and make a better interaction for all people?
That is the point. And that is the reason I wanted you to come on the show. Because when I look at your urban survival training techniques, I was blown away by the fact that you are able to disarm and to de-escalate virtually any situation. Can you talk a little bit about how you do that? I mean, I understand it's a psychology thing, but there is also a training method that you use in your practice, right?
Yes, absolutely. So I created a survival system. I studied many different martial arts growing up. My mother was a captain in the Army. She was a doctor, and she was a firearms instructor. So when we were kids, we were taught at age 6 how to shoot the M16A1. You know, we enjoyed firearms as kids. And so I grew up around guns, and then I had a chance to take a lot of different martial arts. And you know, I love martial arts. I loved all the different, you know, martial arts I came across, which were from Korea, China, Japan. And what I didn't like was that I wanted to survive. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to be a fighter. I didn't want to win trophies. I didn't want to, you know, show off in front of a crowd and do splits. And, you know, that was not the reason I trained. I trained because I wanted to be safe. I grew up in the suburbs, and I felt inherently safe to a certain degree. But I also had problems where people felt that perhaps I was too light complected in order to be considered Black, or my hair was too straight, or my speech pattern was closer to Brian Gumble that they were comfortable with. So they would think that somehow they should be able to beat me up because I don't play basketball well, but I can fight well. So that did not work out well for them. And
I can imagine that didn't work out well.
And then there was other people that thought well, you're so tan year round that I should be able to attack you because you're not, as pale as I am. And because my family is more from Europe than your own. And they found out that that's also not true. So I was getting attacked by everyone. And then whoever wasn't attacking me, my little sister, who was also a doctor, thought that her job was to go around like Don King and recruit fights and tell people, and even other countries, my brother could beat you up. Just so you know, my brother could beat you up. That's how she started every conversation. Oh, I just want to let you know, my brother can beat you up. And so everywhere I went, all over the world, we lived in Germany. We went to Spain. My little sister went and told some Spanish boys that don't speak English that her brother could beat them up. So I ended up fighting just because of either one circumstance or the other. But at the end of the day, what I learned was lots of violence, lots of fighting. Then I was an airborne paratrooper where I learned more violence, more fighting, how to jump out of airplanes and helicopters and kill people, little or no reason. And then after the military, I was a private investigator. And that's when I learned about the law. And that's when I realized all that training I ever had, if you don't have law training, if you don't understand legally how to defend yourself, you just destroyed yourself. You destroyed your life. So I learned that law was more important than physicality. If you don't understand the law, you shouldn't touch anyone or say anything to anyone, because you can literally break the law and destroy your life, destroy your family, destroy your credit if you have any, destroy your home, have your home taken from you just because of what you said to someone. Then if what you did to someone is bad and considered bad, not in your opinion, but in the opinion of others, not only can you lose your freedom because of what you did to someone in self-defense, you thought was self-defense, but you can actually destroy your family. Everyone in your family can be destroyed. And so that's why it's imperative to learn law. So I created a survival school. I took all my martial arts training, put it together, created a system that incorporated how to fight standing up, how to fight on the ground, how to fight using a baton, a knife, a rifle, a pistol, a shotgun, how to defend yourself legally by understanding legally how you would have to articulate threat as a civilian in a situation where violence has occurred. And then I also taught, created a system that teaches how to understand how the law will be used against you, so you can know how you don't want to break the law. By understanding the circumstances before even anything happens, you understand the legal story at work, at home, at your ex-wife, ex-girlfriend's house, ex-boyfriend's house, at your neighbor's house, a work situation. What's the difference legally in these different scenarios? So once you understand those things, you understand how better to navigate, so you can create a better quality of life for you and your family by not doing something that puts you at risk or enhanced risk for prosecution or poverty and going to prison. So all those things are part of any decision you make related to threat, and nobody tells us the law. So I created a system that incorporates law and training so you can defend yourself legally. And then I got a chance to test in real life.
That's it. That's it. This is why I brought you on this platform. The education and everything you just said is what we all need. We want to know how to be safe. We don't want to go around and inherently break the law from ignorance. We just want to be safe. And we want to keep those around us, those we love, safe. So that is why I've brought you on this platform. And I hope that you will come back with us, because there's more layers to Mr. Brown. For all of you out there listening, all of you out there watching, there are many layers to Mr. Brown. And this is like an onion. I want to peel away each layer so that you can start to understand why it is I want to partner with this man to get his information out. Because this is not the end of what he has to share with us. This is just the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg. And Mr. Brown is going to revolutionize how the community, how the public deals with law enforcement, and how law enforcement deals with the public. And we're not going to cover that today, Mr. Brown. I'm just going to give him a little.
More importantly,
go ahead.
On a bigger scale, that's vital. That's very vital. But on a bigger scale, we have to learn how to manage each other. Police are a smaller part of the actual bigger problem. Problem is violence. Violence is the enemy of humanity. Violence. So what is the cause of violence? Ignorance. The less we know, the less options we know, the less understanding we have of the world around us, the less opportunity we're going to have to create peace. That is because ignorance is the foundation of all violence, and it's the true enemy. So that's why we have to remember, it's not the people that are the enemy. It's the actual actions. Do we really care if someone was in a KKK? No, what we care about is what the KKK did. Right. So if you want to be a person who goes out in the woods and does strange things, that's fine. It's the part where you come and you hurt people. That's the problem. So the enemy is the violence that people perpetrate, not their belief systems or what they like or don't like. And maybe they don't like you, maybe they don't like me. That's fine. What matters is physically making sure we're safe and making sure there's no ignorance that's the cause of these issues. And 9 times out of 10 is simply ignorance that is the cause of a thing. So whatever the problem is between people. So on a larger scale, our overall objective is to teach people the truth. And the truth is this: globally and throughout history, violence has been the enemy of humanity, literally and figuratively. And so what we need to do is focus on not being violent as a species. So my system is, how do you go into a situation that is dangerous, create a non-adversarial interaction for a non-violent outcome? That is the science here. That's really what this is. It's actually a science. So it's not just a belief system. It's literally how do you do this by understanding biomechanics, understanding human reaction time, understanding how psychologically people are inspired versus intimidated. We use inspiration to change people's behavior. You don't have to be negative or vile or inappropriate to people to get them to change and want what you want. All you have to do is be a good communicator and get them to see that what you want is in their best interest. And we show you how to do that, whether you're police or just a member of the public. So peace is created, it's designed, it's engineered. So preventive threat management is the name of the system. Detroit Urban Survival Training is the actual schools that we're going to be sending around the world. We have people from New Zealand, from Nigeria. People have contacted us from Nigeria. We're on Viceland TV. People contacted us and said, we want you to help us get our girls back in Africa. Our objective is to take this worldwide. And that is because we can take this message, this training, this system, and we can make people safe everywhere. We're in Detroit, making families safe. We've been doing that for 26 years. It's a thing we actually can do. It's not a theory now. It's 26 years. So you can do it peacefully. You don't have to use violence. You don't have to focus on capturing people and caging people. You can focus on creating conditions where no one gets captured and no one gets caged by not allowing predatory conditions to occur. If predators can't strike the families, if they can't strike the business, if they can't go do violence, there's no opportunity, then you don't have to put people and capture them in cages, and you don't have those criminal issues. You literally, by doing preventive threat management, you prevent prosecution. So we believe that protection of life is more important than the enforcement of laws. Life over law, protection over prosecution. So the key to that is love of humanity. You can only protect what you love. You must love people in order to protect them. That is the missing element. What you want in a protector, what you want in someone who's going to teach people anything, is someone who loves to see people learn, right? So it's one thing if I love the subject matter, I love math. That doesn't make me a good teacher. What would make me a good teacher of math is if I love you learning the math. So if I love my students learning math, then I'd be a really good teacher at math. I don't. I'm not a good math teacher, but I love teaching people how to survive. And I got great stories from police officers. Many police officers say that our training saved their lives. We're very proud of that. That police officers went into situations where they would have used violent force and would have been legally justified. And they're on YouTube, they're on our channel saying that they used this training, and this training not only saved their life, but also allowed them to de-escalate situations and not hurt people, not use a taser, not use force and violence that would have normally been necessary because they would have not had these options. So we love the fact that we can share this stuff with the police officers, and even more so with regular people. So for every story I have from a police officer, I got 100 stories from civilians of how regular people in the public, children, adults, senior citizens, how they used our training to save their lives and prevent violence. Not how to kill a neighbor better, how to use violence better. We don't teach that. We teach you how to create nonviolence by design, and it can be done.
That's it. Wow. Wow. Can I just say, wow? That is it in a nutshell. That is why I asked you here. That is why I believe in your cause. That is why I want to champion your cause. And that is why I believe that, like when I was in 6th grade, I do believe that we can change the world. And we do that one person, one belief, one truth at a time. Because what you have just spoken about is truth and science, and it's evidenced in the efficacy of your program and the results you have received.
Yes.
Mr. Brown, thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. We are going to have you come back. This is just the first of a series that we're going to be doing with Mr. Brown. I'm not sure what we're going to call this, Mr. Brown, because we got so many different ways we're going to go with this. But I know the first thing is definitely we're going to stick with the urban survival training, and we'll allow you to elaborate whenever you want. But we want to extend maybe a way to show the people, maybe when you come on the radio show that we discussed.
Yes,
All
absolutely.
these things, you're going to be out here. You're going to be hearing from Mr. Brown a lot, because I believe it takes all of us to get behind a program like this, a belief system like this, a truth like this, so that we can
educational system.
Yes,
educational system.
Educational system. That's what it is. So that we can effectuate the change that needs to happen today. It needs to happen today. It needs to happen yesterday. It needs to happen right now.
Yes. Agreed.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Thank you. So as always, thank you. As always, I end the program by allowing you to tell the people how they can get in touch with you if they want to know more about Mr. Brown, or if they want to know more about Detroit Dust. How can they get in touch with you, Mr. Brown?
To get in touch with us is easy. You can go online and Google Detroit Threat Management Center, Dale Brown, and you'll see lots of media coverage there. I put in the keyword media as well. Our website is www.detroit-dust.com or detroit-threatmanagementcenter.com, either one of those. And what will happen is you'll get a chance to see what we've done for 26 years, helping families. A lot of things we do are for free. We help people for free because that's the purpose of our organization, is community service. The money's a byproduct. All the money is a byproduct. Everything's about helping families. And what I did was just use the fact that my love of people, of humanity, and thinking of myself as people that would be suffering. So I put myself in the shoes of children that were in inner city communities that were suffering. And I said, you know what would I want if my mom was here and I was a little kid? And then I said, you know what? I wish someone would help my mom, someone to protect us. And that's all I did. And then it turns out that if you keep people alive and safe, you don't let them get home invaded and murdered, then the rich people in the area, they get much richer because there's more people alive that will be customers of their businesses, that will pay rent in their buildings, occupancy goes up, everyone's a winner. Police officers, police departments actually get higher credit because they have less crime. So you can create a win for everyone, more taxpayers for the city. Less violence means higher property value, higher quality of life for the citizens. Most importantly, keeping regular people, working class people, poor people alive and safe is great for everyone, for the property owners, for the politicians, for the municipality, for the police. Everyone wins through preventive threat management and creating non-adversarial interactions and nonviolent outcomes. No lawsuits, no deaths means success in finances that can help everyone.
That's
just
it.
Just by a quality of life improvement for regular people.
That's it. You've also got some videos on YouTube, right, Mr. Brown?
Yes, lots of videos. 600 videos on YouTube. We also have a TikTok channel, Detroit Dust-TMC. So
we just got photo bombed.
This is my daughter, Adira.
Sweetheart, we got a cameo going on.
So,
all right, Mr. Brown.
Yep, we also got kids videos on there, survival scouts. My daughter's on there teaching. She's teaching self-defense.
Oh, wow.
Survival. Yep, it's called Survival Scout. Yes. It's called Survival Scout.
Well, I love that. Look, we're gonna go ahead and let you get. Okay. We're gonna let you get on with your day.
I need self-defense. Okay, so as I was saying.
We're right, as you were saying. So we're gonna end it right here, Mr. Brown. Okay. As I always say, the human experience is our classroom and life is our teacher. So at the end of the day, it's all education. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Until we meet again.
Thank you.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.